Welcome to Rich's Guitar Shop. So what we're going to show you now is just how to restring a guitar. Yours may be different to this. There's variables. You might have a Les Paul, you might have a Strat, you might have a Telecaster, you might have a completely different brand to that. So you might have a Squier. So, there's going to be some variables, but we'll talk about that along the way. But this is just like a general guitar, a few little differences, which we'll talk about that as we go through the process of restringing the guitar. It's going to be talking about cleaning the guitar as well and doing a proper job, when you change the strings, to do a good job of this. A few things you're going to need before you start this video if you're going to follow this through. Grab yourself some polish, any sort of polish. To be honest, I don't think it has to be guitar polish. Someone would probably shoot me if I said that, but I don't think it has to be. I think you could get some general sort of house polish, would be absolutely fine. But my tip for that would be to spray the polish onto the cloth, not all over your nice guitar. Yeah. So make sure if you are going to clean it with some polish, which you probably need to do a bit of a clean if it's still dusty, spray the polish onto the cloth as opposed to spraying it directly onto the guitar. Okay. So you need some polish. You're going to need a dust cloth, so like a microfiber cloth or a dust cloth. We're going to need one of those. You're going to need some lemon oil. Whoops. You're going to need some lemon oil like that. Okay. That's to clean the frets. We'll talk about that as we get to that process. You're going to need a tuner to tune it up at the end. So we need one of those. Doesn't have to be one of these. It could just be any tuner that you're going to use. And you need some string snips and a winder. This one's good because it's got the winder and the string snips all in the same thing. But you might have a set of string snips or pliers and a winder. And most importantly, obviously, is you're going to need a set of strings. Yeah. So we spoke about it in the video, but this is a set of Paradigms, the sort of the unbreakable Ernie Ball strings or break resistance. So we're going to try and put a set of these on the Ernie Ball Music Man and see, how they fare up. So first of all, these are your strings. So we're going to go with these set of strings for today. These are 10s to 46, so it's my normal regular gauge. However, I normally use the regular string keys. I'm going to give these a try. What we're going to do then, so if your guitar has a whammy bar, okay, the general rule is not to take all the strings off at once, because you release all the pressure on the neck, and also the bridge will just, it will drop back and it completely sort of mess up your setup. So what I do to get around that, because I want to take the strings off and I want to give the guitar a good clean, so what I do to get around that is I use the whammy bar on the guitar if you've got a whammy bar system. Pop that in, okay. I deck that down, so I push that down as far as it will go, and then I wedge a dust cloth or something underneath, like that. I'm going to wedge that under there, if it will stay under there. Okay, now the guitar sounds horribly out of tune because the bar is slightly forward now, okay? That's what I need to be able to remove all the strings, okay? So that's an important stage. Don't rush it, don't just take all the strings off, because the guitar, as I said, the bridge will just drop all the way back, and then it's going to need a little bit of setup, a bit of adjusting. So I wedge that under there, and then the next stage is the fun bit, just to take the strings all the way off, okay? On this guitar, it has got a lock-in system. Your guitar may not have a lock-in system. A lock-in system just makes changing strings a lot quicker. Your guitar may not have a lock-in system, so all you need to do to undo your guitar strings, hit the tuning peg at this end, is turn away from yourself, towards yourself like that, and you just unwind the string until it's slack. Remove it from this end, there you go. I like to, instead of trying to force that through the hole at the back there, I like to just cut the end off. So I use my string snips for that, just cut it somewhere in the middle. Just watch out with the excess as well. If you get one of these in your finger, it does hurt. If you've got pets or whatever around, just make sure you put that somewhere sensible. I'm going to put that out of shot for now. Okay, so I'm going to do that on every string in a minute. Let's just quickly unwind this. Undo the locker at the back. You might not have a locker, so I'll do those first. There we go. Take them all off. Again, cut them in the middle. Shot. And why this is good to learn is if you start playing in a band or whatever and you snap a string, on stage, you need to know how to change it quite quickly, because most of us don't have the luxury of a guitar tech. So you do need to know how to change your own strings. Something that any good guitar teacher really should teach you how to do that. Once you've had one sort of go at it, you should know, how to have a go at it yourself. Let's take these out. I said, watch you don't stab yourself in the finger, because it does hurt. Let's see if I can get that one out. There we go. These out. Cut these in the middle. So as I said, your guitar might look like it might be a Les Paul, it might be a Strat. The only thing that's going to be different on that, it might have a whammy bar system, it might not have a whammy bar system. This one does have a whammy bar system, so if your guitar has a whammy bar system, you can just follow this along quite easily. If it doesn't have a whammy bar, it's even easier because it's a fixed bridge. You can remove all the strings anyway, you just take them straight off because the bridge is fixed to the body of the guitar. So now what I need to do is just turn this over and get the strings out. So I'm going to push these down. Get that one out. It's good to say, I'm a general guitarist, I'm not a guitar tech, so I'm not, you know, a guitar tech might have a really quick technique that they got to do this, but this is just the way I do my strings, and it works for me, as I say. Some things I've learned along the way, just makes things a bit quicker. There you go, so I've removed all the strings now, I'm going to get those out of the way. Lay the guitar back down on something. Really important thing I didn't say when I said about setting up all this stuff, what you need a flat surface. You need something like this, or some sort of, you know, guitar. You can get a guitar holder that holds the neck of the guitar. You need a flat, good work surface area, because trying to do it sat on a chair or, you know, it's just awkward, so you need a good surface to do it on. Great, so the next thing we're going to do is use some of this. This is just lemon oil, okay, you can get that from any good guitar shop. I'm going to put that on the frets. On the fretboard, so it just sort of nourishes the fretboard and just brings it back up and sort of treats the wood a little bit and cleans it off. Some guitars are not suitable for this. I would say that like a lacquered finished, you know, fretboard or something, or with lacquer on the front, you don't want to be using lemon oil. It's mainly for the rosewood or ebony fretboard. So pop that on there, little dab on each fret. All this is doing is just taking all that sort of finger pup, you know, all the sweat and stuff off your fingers. It's just taking that off the fretboard, lifting it off, and also treating the wood as well. Because if you just bought a guitar as well, I'd recommend this is the first thing you do, because this guitar may have been sat in the shop in the sun. Hopefully not, but it may have been sat in the sun, direct sunlight for a while, and the fingerboard might have dried out a little bit, so it might need a bit of TLC. So this stuff's great for sort of bringing the fretboard back to shine. So that's that done. I'm just going to disappear out of shot a second because I need an extra cloth to clean this off. Right, okay, so prep before you start this. So we go, never cloth. So what I'm going to do now is just let that sit on there for a little bit. But because of the, you know, I might let that sit in there for a few minutes or so, but because of the quickness of the video, I'm just going to clean that straight off, okay? So I'm going to clean all that lemon oil off now, the excess lemon oil. Give that a good shine. There we go, okay. So I just use that side of the cloth, and I'm going to use this side of the cloth just to do a little bit of polishing on the guitar. So I'm going to use this. As I said earlier, don't spray that onto the guitar really. You want to spray that onto the cloth, a little bit onto the cloth, and then just get all that sweat, you know, from playing, get that off the guitar and across the pickups. Just give it a wipe. We can always wipe it afterwards anyway, so just clean off all the, you know, the handprints and stuff. That's good, I'm happy with that. I can go back over that later. So now is the important bit is actually putting a new set of strings on. So once you can get into the packet, over there, get that out of shot. Right, so this is what I said earlier in the video about the string sizes. How it comes out of the packet is the thickest string on the top and the thinnest on the bottom. So don't get confused with that. So what I'm going to do is put them down like face down like that, and now I've got the thinnest string. I don't think it really matters with which end you start with. I really don't. However, I like to start with the thinnest string and work to the thickest, and I know that some people start with the thickest and work to the thinnest, so it doesn't really matter, I don't think. So first string out. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the guitar back over again. This is the fiddly bit, trying to get that string through the little holes on the back. You'll see on the back of your guitar, I'll just turn this over a minute, this is like the trem system in here. You've got the holes in the back there you're trying to line up, and then you've got your springs in there that sort of set the tremolo bar. So I'm going to push that through there, hopefully. There you go. And I'm going to come back around this side, if I can grab it. I'm going to pull that back through there, okay, into this tool. So pull it through, all the way through. Then up to this end of the guitar, okay, this is where we're going to actually put the string on. Now this guitar is really simple to restring because it's got lock-in tuners, but other guitars, you know, you might have a Strat, you might have a Les Paul, they won't necessarily have lock-in tuners. So what you want to do for that what I like to do is I like to line the hole up here on here, so it's in a straight line. Yeah, I'm going to push that through the hole like so. Yeah, this is where you need your glasses if you haven't got very good eyes like me. I'm going to push that through the hole like that. Okay, now if I'm doing a normal guitar, like a Strat guitar or Les Paul, what I like to do on the high strings up here, yeah, so I pull it through so it's nice and taut, and then I pinch it at the nut of the guitar here, which is there, and I pull it back. I'm going to pull that back 1.5 frets to there. Alright, what that gives me is a good amount of winds on this end here. Okay, there's other methods to use as well, but that gives me a good amount of winds on here. So we don't want really any more than 2 or 3 winds around the post of the guitar, because that's going to affect the tuning and things like that, and when we use the whammy bar. So we're going to pull that back to 1.5 frets, then I'm going to start winding. Okay, that's what we're going to do. But on this guitar it's super simple. I pull it all the way through. It's got a lock-in system, so I lock the back of that. Okay, and then I wind. Yeah, and I'm going to use my little string winder, which is really handy on the back of here to save your hands. So I'm going to wind this up, and I'm going to wind this away from myself. Important to mention, the strings on this side of the guitar, on that side of the guitar on a Les Paul, you're going to wind away from yourself. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Okay, and then I move on to the next string and I follow the same process for all the rest of the strings. Okay, when we get to a thicker string on this side, you're going to push that away from yourself to tune it up. Okay, so that's what we're going to try and do there. Okay, so one thing I would do, is really important that you do before you play guitar, you put all your strings on, you tune up the guitar, you make sure it's all in tune, which I'm going to do now, show you how to do that, and then you want to make sure you stretch the string, otherwise the first bend you do is going to push the guitar straight out of tune. Okay, so I pop the tuner on the top of that, do that so you can see it. Okay, so that's saying G sharp at the moment, so that's miles out. Okay, do remember the fact though, normally I would have a full set of strings on here. I would take that out before I'm doing this. Okay, so I put the strings on up to rough tuning, then I pull the cloth back out the back there so that the whammy bar returns back to where it was. But I'm going to do it with that end for now. I'm going up through the alphabet system, so you can see here the musical alphabet. C sharp. Seems to be slipping, so it might just be the lock-in's not good enough on the back. Here we go, it's just a lock-in went down quite enough. Okay, I'm going up to D sharp, so we need to get to E, so D sharp to E. There we go. And we're into E there, okay? If we started playing that now, bending the string, it's going to go out of tune, okay? So what's really important is just to give the string, don't be scared to do this, don't manhandle it, but just a nice, like that, a nice sort of pull on the string to stretch the strings out. And then basically keep repeating that process until the string stabilises and stays in tune. Okay, so now off video I'm going to repeat the whole process and we'll end up with a guitar that's restrung, nice and clean. I'll use a bit of polish on the guitar, on the back of the guitar as well afterwards. Make sure it's all nice and shiny and it's ready for a gig. If you look after the guitar, you have a great gig. You know, that's the general rule. So hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Hope that helps you restring your guitars, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.